it's a song about just that idea that you can do things and you can make a difference in your life. And it's done in a kind of, you know, it's done in a fairly cheery and kind of cheeky manner. But I think I need songs like that because I very much get drawn naturally to the dark side of things.
Daisy darling, don't spread your arms so wide. Why don't you keep a little something inside? I know we think that hands are made for pulling us through, but there are people in this world who don't think like you do.
Of all the songs that I've been singing live from Scribbled In Chalk, Daisy is the one I've had the most feedback about from people who've come to gigs. And I wrote Daisy when my younger sister Kerry, who actually makes a little cameo appearance on the album, was pregnant. I was just thinking about what it must be like to be a parent nowadays, raising your children and trying to make sense of how they're going to grow up in the world. So Daisy's very much about trying to explain to your children how to not be naive about what the world is like, but how to not be really cynical as well. And I think that's a really difficult balance to strike. I think the most pointed feedback I got was I sang it at an English festival in July last year, and two school teachers came up after the show, and this was shortly after the bombings had happened in London, and they said that the lyric in the song, what it was trying to convey, was exactly what they'd been trying to explain to their classes in the aftermath of the bombing. And of course, I had no notion it could possibly be taken that way.
I know the warp of a thread, fibers and filaments, silver and red, but these golden stars are blood on my hands. Baliri, baliri, balu.
The darkest song on the album is Baliri, and it's a lullaby. It very much steals from the whole tradition of Scottish lullabies. Even the refrain, the word Baliri, comes from a Shetland lullaby called the Bressa Lullaby, Baloo Baliri. It's about a woman called Jane Haining, who was from Galloway in the southwest of Scotland, and she was many things in her life. She started off her life as a mill worker in Paisley in the west coast of Scotland, but she ended up as a missionary teacher in Budapest in Hungary in the 1930s, and she was working in an orphanage. And at the point that the Nazis invaded Hungary, the Church of Scotland, who were running the orphanage that she worked in, withdrew all their staff back to Scotland, but she decided instead to stay there. And for her trouble, she ended up getting shipped off to Auschwitz with the children that were in the orphanage. And amongst the crimes that she was charged with was espionage, on the basis that when she'd been sewing on the Star of David to the children's coats and dresses, she'd cried, and this was proof that she was a traitor. Anyway, she ended up dying in Auschwitz, and I found out about her story from a Scottish writer called Billy Kay, and I just thought she seemed like an incredible person. She wasn't the only Scot to have died in a concentration camp. I think there were around 10 or so of them, but she just seemed like a woman that should be remembered. And I thought that the lullabies actually are often very, very dark. We think of lullabies on the surface as being sweet little things for sending your baby off to sleep, but actually lots of lullabies are very, very dark, and it seemed like the perfect kind of song form to get the meaning across.
And these golden stars will shine for you and I.
Big fan of the Scottish music scene just now. I think it's a really exciting time. There are bands like Aberfeldy, who are friends of mine, that are kind of doing folk pop. King Creosote and the Fence Collective and Fife are really it's just great crack and a great ethos behind the whole thing as well. And then you've got someone like Katie Tunstall, who's going down the kind of rock chick route, but doing it amazingly well. In truth, most of the people I listen to are probably North American writers. Laura Beers from Seattle. She's got her own take on things, her own language, just really strong, beautiful imagery. There's a young guy, Bright Eyes, from the States as well, and he's got quite a political bent to his writing too.
From farther away to the ebb and the flow of the tide.
Although I have my own songwriting project, which is my main thing now, this is what I do and I'm very serious and focused about it. You know, I'm still performing and singing with my friends on an ad hoc basis. So I'm performing with Karina Hewitt, who plays on the album, and my friend Annie Grace, singing traditional songs in Scots, in 3-part harmony.
Robin should and hares, I should weigh him fainter you can I, yet I stand by him, I get up to dance, to my
I'm glad to be able to do lots of different things and hopefully make a success of this one main thing that will allow me the freedom to kind of collaborate with the people that I want to collaborate with.
And the light lingers long by the door, and the seeds of the summer have spoken.
Sometimes I'm just completely shocked that people know I exist at all, but suddenly I seem to be on people's radar for projects and getting a name for being up for it, because I'm really up for collaborating with other people. So it's a really exciting time. I just but I have no notion of what's happening next, and I quite like it that way actually.
The breath of the morning away, and we follow the hidden home. In darkness we cradled our sorrow and stoked all our fires with fear. And now these bones that lie empty and hollow are ready for gladness to cheer. By night and day we'll sport and we'll play and delight as the dawn dances over the bay. Sleep blows the breath of the morning